who's there?" A girl of about 15, who'd been standing near me, got even closer. She was wearing a parka with its hood hugging her face, though it wasn't extremely cold today. But it wasn't warm either. The high temperatures in this area in May seldom go above the 50s. She patted Sasha after getting my okay, then pointed and asked, "Are those seals?" "You got it," I said, catching the eye of a smiling woman behind her who was most likely her mom. I then asked the girl, "What's your name?" "Allie," she said. "Pretty," I told her, then spoke into the microphone again. "I have Allie here with me, a very smart young lady who said that what we're seeing, those spots on the ice that you'll see better as we get closer, are seals. They're harbor seals, and some might be new mamas and their pups." I'd slung a red fabric bag over one shoulder before and now reached down into it, pulling out a white plastic cup with the name of this boat, Clem Elk, etched into it in a gold color. "This is for you, Allie," I said, handing it to her. "It's your prize for helping me." "Thank you," she exclaimed, then dashed over to her mother, who also mouthed, "Thank you." I simply nodded and smiled. I was wearing a navy blue zip-up hoodie that had a small Clem Tours logo on the front over a long-sleeved t-shirt and wool slacks. No, I wasn't cold, but this kind of thing was my uniform on these tours, especially the hoodie, though I didn't have the hood up right now. That let my dachshund brown hair, pulled up into a clip at the top of my head, but loose below that, blow free. Why dachshund brown? The dog I had as a child, Shorty, and I had matching hair color, although mine was always longer. I seldom wore gloves, despite having them in my pockets, since I had to be able to maneuver my microphone, binoculars, and more. And the tourists? Their garb and degree of warm clothing varied. There were people of all ages on board. All appeared to be enjoying themselves, and my talk. Although we were finally reaching the area where I hoped to tell them the most about Alaska's nearest wildlife. We were getting closer now to the seals on the ice. The tour boat had been rocking gently nearly the entire time we'd been on it, more when we'd left the Juneau area, since we were going faster. Now we'd slowed, but the water, though not too bad, wasn't completely calm. I pulled my binoculars up from where they hung around my neck and looked at the nearest ice atop the water. A few floes had 2 or more seals on them, and, of those, a couple of the additional seals were quite young, relative newborns. Fun to see, fun to point out. Around me, groups began congregating along the edges of the deck, sometimes getting close to Sasha, who knew just to step behind me and snuggle my legs. I was glad about the railings, especially when a couple of young men started taunting each other. In fun, it seemed, but they nevertheless got into a bit of a disagreement. "Easy there, guys," I told them. "The seals don't eat people meat, but I still don't want you to end up in the water." They both looked at me from beneath their tight beanies, appearing startled at first, and then they laughed. Before I started talking again, another guy came up to me. He'd joined me before on this tour as I'd spoken into my microphone. His jacket was of puffy pale green vinyl, and he wore a black knit hat pulled way down on his head, almost to his brown eyes. He seemed quite interested in the area and my descriptions, and was full of questions, which, fortunately, I was able to answer. But of course, I'd been a wildlife lover all my life, had studied and worked with wild animals in a variety of ways. Smiling, I lifted my hand to gently silence him for the moment, and when I lowered my hand, I patted Sasha on the head. I spoke for a short while about harbor seals and their background in Alaska, particularly Tracy Arm. I'd done a bunch of research. Plus, when I was learning the basics for this job, I'd gone on a few other Clem Tours boat trips, listening to and talking to some of the other tour guides. I'd become buddies with a couple of them already, and both were also out giving tours today, but not in Tracy Arm. For right now, this was my bailiwick. I loved going out on this boat usually 5 days a week, one tour each day.